everyone. So let's begin. The present perfect tense. Why is it so difficult for most of us to use the present perfect tense? And why do we get confused when we use the structures of the present perfect tense? As you know, the present perfect tense has a different form or from the previous ones. The previous in the present simple and the present continuous. We use the be verbs and the ing form, but this one, it has a different structure, has or have, plus the verb 3 form of the verb, so or the past participle. So we will start looking at the structure first, or the form on how to construct present perfect structure first, and then we'll move on to some examples and uses of the present perfect tense. I hope you will get this lesson, or you will find this lesson very much useful for most of us. As I mentioned earlier, this is labeled, or this lesson is labeled for intermediate level students, so it is important for those of you whose language is a bit higher than the beginners or the elementary ones. So when we start with the form, or to begin with the form of the present perfect tense, as you can see in the positive statements, start with subject plus has or have plus past participle, or the verb 3 form of the verb. This time I'd like to advise you to study the verb forms, verb 1, verb 2, verb 3, or the infinitive form, the past simple and the past participle form of the verbs, because in using the present perfect tense we strictly need to know the verb 3 or the past participle forms of different verbs, both regular and irregular verbs. So in the positive statement we use subject plus has or have plus past participle form of the verb plus object, which means has or have, which means if the subject is he, she, it, we use has. If it is I, we use a, we use have. So I have eaten my lunch, she has eaten her lunch. All right, so he, she, it, has, I, we use a, have. And the negative form will be subject plus has not or have not, or hasn't or haven't, plus past participle form of the verb plus the object. So I haven't eaten my breakfast today. So I haven't eaten my breakfast. Okay, I haven't met her. Okay, I haven't met her. She hasn't done her homework. She hasn't done her homework, etc. So the negative form is like that, and the question form or the interrogative form of the present perfect tense is with we bring the has or have verb, or the verb to have at the beginning of a sentence, and then followed by the subject and the past participle. Have you eaten your lunch? Have you done your homework? All right. Have you finished your assignment? So has or have plus subject plus past participle form of plus the object. So have you, okay, have you finished your assignment? Has she eaten her lunch? Has she eaten her lunch? So this is how we construct the present perfect tense. This is all about the form. Examples: I have tried kitfo. Okay, she has tried kitfo, I have tried kitfo, they have tried kitfo, we have tried kitfo. Okay, and the negative will be she hasn't or we haven't tried kitfo. I haven't tried kitfo. They haven't tried kitfo. Okay, she has not tried kitfo, or she hasn't tried kitfo. I haven't tried kitfo, or I have not tried kitfo. The question form: have you tried kitfo? Have you tried kitfo? Has she tried kitfo, or has he tried kitfo? So these are the examples based on the form or the structure. Here, what we have next is the different uses of the present perfect tense. Present perfect tense, even if we use it very limited, we have a number of functions that we can use it for. For example, to express things you have done in your life. When we want to talk about your experience or life experience, you use the present perfect tense. She has worked in a bank. She has worked in a bank. This is one of her experiences, okay, or life experiences. So when we go to interview, when we are asked about our previous experience, we use the present perfect tense. I have worked as an English teacher, I have worked as a marketer, I have done these activities and those activities, etc. So we use the present perfect tense to talk about such kind of life experience. The second one is to talk about a number of times that you have done something. To show the number of times that you have done something, we use the present perfect tense. The present perfect tense in this case, for example, can be used, how many times have you tried to meet him? Okay, before you give up, how many times have you tried, okay, to do something? To talk about that, you use the present perfect tense. You can say, I've tried to meet him a number of times, I've tried to call him a number of times, okay? So this is to show that you've done something repeatedly. The third one is to express a recently completed actions that are important now. A recently completed action, but the effect is still with us now. So for that, for example, you can say, I have some good news. I have some good news. And after that, I have passed the test. I have passed the test. Okay? I have got engaged. These are some good news. Okay? You can also say, I have some bad news. Okay? I have bad news. And what is that? I have lost my job, or I have failed the test or the exam. So these are some of the things that are recently completed, but they are important now as we speak. So that is the other function. The other one is to express situations that started in the past and are still true. This is the most common usage of the present perfect tense. To talk about an action that started in the past but continued in one way or the other to the present moment. So to talk about that, we use the present perfect tense. For example, we have known each other for nearly 10 years now. Okay, we have known each other. How long have you known each other? Okay, to your closest friend. You can say, we have known each other for nearly 10 years now. Okay, so that is one function. To talk about an action that started, or a situation that started in the past, but has connection one way or the other. There is a connection with it now. Okay, it can be a cause and effect. For example, if somebody asks you, let's go out and have some dinner, or let's go and have breakfast or lunch, you can say, I have eaten my lunch, thank you. Which means, it doesn't mean that you are eating that right at that moment, but it means you have eaten earlier, but the effect is still with you, which means you are full. You cannot add any more, or you cannot take any more food. So I have eaten my lunch. The others, to express an unfinished action or situation. An unfinished action or situation, and the other one is to talk about an action that happened in an unfinished time. In an unfinished time, we can use the present perfect tense. For the first one, for example, I have done most of the assignment. I have done most of the assignment. It doesn't mean that I have finished everything, but I have done most of the assignment. Okay, there is a little portion left, but I have done most of the assignment. To talk about an unfinished action. Okay, unfinished action. And the other one is to talk about actions that are performed in an unfinished time. In an unfinished time. For example, we are in the year 2024, right? In the year 2024, how many books have you read? How many movies have you watched? How many countries or places have you visited? Right? To talk about such kind of things, we use the present perfect tense. For example, she has traveled to 5 countries this year. This year is not over yet, so we can use the present perfect tense to talk about the things that happen in an unfinished time. So she has traveled to 5 countries this year. I have watched 3 movies or 3 films so far this week. 3 films so far this week. The week is not over yet. So I can use a present perfect tense to talk about things or actions or events that happened in an unfinished time. So with this tense, there are some common words and phrases that we frequently use. Okay, we frequently use the present perfect tense with, for example, for and since. Okay, keywords or key words like for and since. Okay, for and since. For example, I have known him for 5 years. For tells us the duration of the action. I have known him for 5 years. And that is for duration. For is used with duration, and since, for example, since is used with a point of time that certain action started. For example, I have known him since 2019. Okay, I have known him since 2019, or I have known him since my childhood. Okay, I have known him since my childhood. So for and since are key phrases in the present perfect tense. They tell us about the duration of time, okay, how long, and since tells us starting from when. Okay, starting from when. So since 1950. Okay, since for example, I have taught English since 2005 for the last nearly 20 years or 19 years. So I can say I have taught English for 19 years, or I have taught English since 2005. So this tells us that the present perfect tense is used to talk about something that started in the past and has connection with now, or continued one way or the other with now. Okay, so we're not sure whether that action continues into the future or not, but the action came, okay, a long way until now. So that is the present perfect tense. In addition to for and since, we have keywords like already, just, and yet. All right, as you know, already is to talk about a kind of situation that is completed earlier. Okay, they have already gone. Okay, they have already gone, which means that action is performed a little earlier. If I say she has just left, that means recently. Okay, recently, and they haven't come here yet, or they haven't arrived yet, which means the action is not performed until now. So yet, already, just, and in addition to that, we have seen for and since. So these are important key phrases and words that we can use with the present perfect tense. I hope this lesson will help you a lot in understanding the present perfect tense, in creating connections to talk about actions that happened in the past with the present, and to talk about our life experience, to talk about the things that we have done in an unfinished time, to talk about things or activities that we haven't finished yet, etc. So these are the different functions of the present perfect tense. We will come with the next video on the present perfect continuous. Stay tuned. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Ciao.